Hello everyone, I am Aman and today I am going to show you a game played between Magnus Carlsen and Levon Aronian in the Magnus Carlsen Invitational Knockout 2021. So let's start the game. Levon Aronian is white and the world champion is black. Levon opens the game with one e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6 and bishop to b5. This is the WhiteElo piece opening. a6 the Murphy defense and bishop to a4 the Columbus variation. Knight to f6, castles, bishop to c5, c3, castles and now d4 trying to push back the bishop. Bishop to a7 and now the move bishop to g5. If the bishop would have been on this diagonal, it could have broken the pin, but now that's not possible. E takes g4. And now it would be a common idea to take on d5, but a better choice is e5, which was played in the game. h6 is the only possible move and that was played because otherwise they would be losing a piece in any other variation. Bishop to h4 and now g5. And now, can we take on g5? Pause the video and think. No, we can't because after knight takes g5, h takes g5, bishop takes g5, there can come knight takes on e5 and now your complete piece down with little bit of compensation that black is better. So in this position, Levon Aronian, very smart, first plays the move bishop takes on c6 so that later the knight can never take on e5. Now d takes on c3 and now only the knight takes on g5. Pawn takes on c3, queen takes d8, rook takes d8 and now knight takes c3. Knight to e5 and now knight to e4. In this position it was not good move to bring back the knight because a better choice would have been winning a pawn with knight takes f7 because white would have to move his rook and then we can go to e8. In this position he can't move the bishop because then g2 would hang. Therefore, but now he played knight to e4, knight takes c3, knight b takes c3, rook to d3, trying to activate his rook, rook a to d1, rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and now bishop to e6, attacking the a2 pawn, a3, f5, and now in this position, a common black player would think, oh, I don't have an open file for my rook, it's difficult to play in this position. But no, this is not the way the world champion thinks. He thinks, oh, I don't have an open file? No problem, I'll create one. He goes for the move f5, sacrificing the pawn, a tactical pawn sacrifice. He plays the move e takes on f6, which is opposite capture, and now rook to e8, the file which had been opened after sacrificing the pawn, the e file. He places his rook on that file. And now the threat is bishop to b6, which launches the discovery. h3, which was a mistake because Levon Aronian overlooked the move bishop to b3, which launches the discovery. And so Magnus Carlsen immediately pounced on the move bishop to b3. And now in this position, in a way, white is losing a piece because if you thought he can go rook e1, but no, that's not the move because black couldn't play bishop to d5 and he would be losing a piece because this is covered, this is covered, this is covered and this is covered. So now in this position he played the move f5 so that later the rook can go on d7 for a check. King takes f7, he says okay, thank you for the pawn, I'm taking it. Rook d7 check, king g6 and now he saves the piece. Now the rook sweeps in the position with rook to e1. King h2, bishop to e6. And guys, white cannot take the c7 pawn. Think why? Yes, you're right, because of bishop to b8. Therefore, he plays the move rook to d8. And now rook e2, knight to f3. Magnus Carlsen says, okay, you're giving a pawn, no problem, I'll take it. Bishop takes f2, bishop takes f2 and now rook takes f2. King to g3, attacking the rook, rook to c2, attacking the pawn, rook d3, defending it, bishop to d5, trying to pin it, king to f4, just unpinning the knight so that later it can move. And now king to f6, gaining a position, G4, Rook to F2 pinning, H4, B5, King to G3, Rook takes F3, exchanging everything so that the pawn majority on the queen side will help him win the game. And now Rook takes F3, Rook takes F3, King takes F3, C5, trying to create a passed pawn and win the game. And now King to E4, C6, expanding, King F4, A5, King E4, and now A4, again, King D3, King to E5, King to E3, and B4. And here, White can't even take with the C pawn, because if he does, takes, and now he can go for the move A3. There's a square form right out here, and White king is out of the square, though this pawn is queen. So now, King to D2 and B3. It was at this position that Levon Aronian resigned the game, because White can go here and pick up these pawns, while Black in return is gonna pick up all these pawns and his pawn and eventually win the game after this pawn is gonna queen. So friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do like the video and don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below, and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.